What's going on, everybody? This is Chris Classic dropping the two for today. I dropped a car vlog earlier today. I'm gonna do one today. Well, again, after work. Nobody tells you today. Remember that God loves you, Christ loves you, and I love you as well. I'm praying for you guys. Hope you guys and gals are having a wonderful day so far. Make sure you subscribe to the Taking Home podcast, where I talk about professional wrestling topics and I put my matches as classic out for a professional wrestler of 13 years. 14 years actually. Excuse me, 14 years. You can look at a lot of my matches throughout the years, and even matches that I've had this year so far. Also subscribe to C3 Ultimate Wrestling. That is me and my wife's professional wrestling company. With everything going on with the family, it is still our show that is still going on May 23rd. Harold's Private Venue, Dyer, Indiana. Tickets are on sale now on Eventbrite. They're $5 off online, but they'll be $5 more at the door. God bless, Raphael. God bless. God bless. 2 live. Yes, sir. 2 lives. 2 lives. So, Camron versus Jey Uso, that happened, I believe, either yesterday or today. But some of my friends and colleagues, we have talked about it. We cracked jokes about it. And I wanted to speak about it. Now, Camron has a podcast with Mace. I believe it's called It Is What It Is. They talk about various topics. I've seen small things. I've laughed at things. I've agreed with certain things. I think one of the last things I did remember seeing when I was paying attention to some of it was when he kicked Adrian Bronner out, when he was trying to holler at a lady who had a guy and he just kept pursuing. A lot of people use the memes from shows and stuff like that. You know, we remember Cam, Killer Cam, Dipset, Diplomatic Immunity, Dipset. Some more Jewels, you know, Purple Haze, get him daddy, pause. You know, Camron, oh boy, pause again, necessary. It's a lot of pauses, but still, remember the man came out with all the pink. Like, he made pink gangster. Like, pink was always considered a feminine color, but when he came out with it, people had the throwback Mitchell & Ness jerseys, pink Jordans, pink shoes and everything. My little brother was wearing pink. I ain't never kept for pink like that, but still, Camron was definitely one of those ones. And then Mace, obviously, Murder Mace, aka Pastor Mace, aka Welcome Back Mace. And, you know, why you always hating on me, Harlem World Mace. You know, their catalogs is just great. And I do know they do a podcast or whatever like that. So they had Jey Uso on there. Now, been very big on celebrity involvement with wrestlers and stuff like that, but I think what they did was very, very perfect. First of all, a lot of these wrestlers are doing a lot of PR for WrestleMania. Jade Cargill, a couple weeks ago, was on the Joe Budden podcast, and she was also on Funny Marco's podcast. Interviews with local news and stuff like that. Like, they are everywhere. They're interviewing stuff. They're on red carpet events. They're doing a whole bunch of stuff, especially with WrestleMania this weekend, right? So Jay was on the It Is What It Is podcast, and a small snippet from what I've seen was, you know, Camron was like talking about his legacy, his family and stuff like that. And it was like, hey, a lot of these guys is top guys, but why y'all not top guys? He talked about his dad, talked about his cousin, and a whole bunch of stuff. But then Jay started getting hot. He said, hey man, I don't appreciate how you saying this, man. I wasn't expecting that and stuff like that and all that, man. Like, what's going on, man? I feel disrespected. So we all know that Jey Uso, you know, him and his brother in LA Knight, they're opening night one of WrestleMania against the Vision and iShow Speed. And Jey Uso was like, see, man, I'm about to have 100,000 people in the palm of my hands. I'm working with YouTubers and stuff like that. I don't need you to basically disrespect. So Camron said he don't have any more questions, and he talked to one of the guys there and was like, hey man, I want you to bring Sunday in words here, not Saturday in words. Now, we do know that WrestleMania night 1 and 2 is 2 nights, but obviously the main will be the second night. So that's what I love. I loved it because, honestly, that's how you do some stuff, or you build animosity with wrestlers and podcasters and stuff like that. A lot of people don't have to go inside a ring to get yoked up. And when Camron was talking mess, Jay yoked him up and stuff like that and threw some punches at him. Then they show a cut of Camron having like a bandage or a blanket or a napkin on his hat, looking shaken up, and then asking Mace, where was you at? And Mace was like, I'm all the way over there. I walked all the way over there. That's how you do stuff. You know, Shout out to Camron and Mace, because I've seen a lot of interviews and people who've had wrestlers on podcasts. They don't know what to ask wrestlers. They'll start, oh, I used to watch it. What's real? What's not real? Like, they don't have proper etiquette when it comes to interviewing wrestlers. Like, when it comes to musicians, when it comes to other athletes and stuff like that, sometimes people, they don't have knowledge. They're not doing research or nothing. They expect the wrestler to just sell everything. But my thing is this: if you're not interested already, you're not going to be more interested. You're going to be like, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. That's why, like, with women, you could probably get more women podcasters to look at wrestling nowadays, especially when you have women like Jade Cargill with the belt, who's very phenomenal, very tall, statuesque figure. And women will look at that kind of stuff like, oh, I want to see that and stuff like that. So that's something appreciated. That's something to think about, is that, like, I've seen a lot of podcasts. I've been on podcasts. I've been on interviews. I've been on interviews on news channels and stuff. And sometimes they ask the wrong questions. They should ask, hey, what are you doing? Represent the company. Why do you wrestle? How can you encourage people? Those are important questions instead of, is it real or fake? And this and that. I used to watch this. Why don't you show me how to do this and show me how to do that? It's no proper etiquette. So for a podcast that's not a primarily wrestling podcast can sit down and actually have etiquette and knowing who the Usos family is, regardless if they knew it or not. Most likely they did. They say New York people love wrestling. So still, to know who his daddy is, know who the Rock and the family and all of this stuff is, that's some good stuff, because now that makes more people a little bit interested in stuff like that, because people listen to the podcast sometimes more for Camron and Mace. Sometimes they'll listen to a podcast more for the person that's actually hosting the event. So I do think they did a great job with that kind of situation, to have animosity. They didn't have to do it in a wrestling ring. It wasn't a backstage segment. It was on their show. It has people talking. I'm talking about it. A lot of people are talking about it because we're cracking jokes. I posted on my Facebook page that Camron got to pull out with the pink chinchilla, the pink get up. He got to show up because he's saying he's going to show up Saturday. Like, to me, this is just something that black people do and black folks do when it comes to certain things. Trust me, and I know other races have similar things, but when I say it, you know what I mean. Hey, man, you want to come to this show? Oh, yeah, I'm going to come to this show. You in the main event or you in the championship match? Nah, man, I'm in the front. Oh, no, you in the beginning. I might miss it, man. I don't know, man. Why should I come out there? A slap in the face. But at the same time, a lot of people do that. Your kid try to give you an invite to their play. You thinking they in the play, but they ain't the ones that's holding up the curtains and doing the cue cards. You're going to be a little upset. It's not right. It's not right. But at the same time, still, you're going to feel a certain way. Hey, my son invited me to this basketball game. What is he doing? I don't see him playing. And then you see him passing out waters and Gatorades. Hey, I would still support my son, obviously, but y'all know what I mean when I say this kind of stuff. And this is also goes back to the thing about why they shouldn't have 2 nights of WrestleMania. This is why. This is exactly why you shouldn't have one. Because this is funny to me. Oh, man, I don't want a Saturday wrestler. I want a Sunday wrestler. I'm paraphrasing. He said the N-word. But still, that is funny. Jey opened up last year on Saturday. That's what makes it more funny to me. Not for the sake of Jey's embarrassment and entertainment, but that is true. That is definitely true about what happened. This is 2 WrestleManias in a row. 2 Saturdays in a row is opening the show. So still, I do think that's funny, but that's how you do an interview and stuff like that. Now, I don't know if Camron is going to be involved with WrestleMania. I hope he's not. There's too much WrestleMania involvement already. I do like that the Jey had yoked him up and stuff like that, like stop playing. They have things in the past where wrestlers took stuff out on podcasters and interviewers and stuff, to the fact that the interviewers sued. You know, remember the guy slapped the interviewer because he said it was fake, slapped the mess out of him because Vince was like, you know, protect the business. Dude slapped the mess out of the guy. And that dude had to go to the hospital. Dude pressed charges. Wrestler went to jail, got fired. Still, you know, Hulk Hogan choked out somebody because they said that wrestling was fake. He choked him out and he busted his head open when he fell on the floor. Like, there's a lot of wrestlers that still do that. I'm not sitting here saying I'm invoking violence, but at the same time, protect the business, protect where you eat at. You're feeding your family and stuff. You know, nowadays with all of these shows and these documentaries and stuff, everything is just so exposed right now. Like I said, when The Rock was playing Final Boss and then switched over to Dwayne in the same interview, like, oh yeah, I'm the final boss. You shut your mouth. Oh yeah, we did a great job, guys. High fives and stuff. Yeah, man, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this kind of stuff, and we're gonna have fun and stuff. I'm Dwayne, guys. You don't have to worry. I'm the final boss right now. I'm Dwayne. Like, it's so stupid to me. It's so stupid to me that they was doing that. And I am glad that they don't do those kind of interviews no more, especially when Brock came back, because people's going to ask million-dollar questions about why is Brock returning to WWE. But still, man, it was cool. That's how you do interviews and stuff. That's how you get even people excited. You know, especially if Camron saying he's going to show up. Like, oh, is he going to fight him or what's going to go on? That's how you reel people into the business. That's how you do it. You don't have to have Grammy award-winning artists involved in sketches and stuff and make it seem like he running SmackDown more than Nick Aldis is. You don't need to have Pat McAfee, who said he was burnt out from the schedule, coming back to reap the benefits of one of the biggest shows that a lot of wrestlers have busted their you-know-what's off to even just try to get there to even promote. And like I said, this is going from somebody who knows that celebrities and WrestleMania go hand in hand before I was even born. But at the same time, there's certain ways to do it. Like, you can't sell Pat McAfee and Randy Orton working together. You just cannot. You cannot also sell just Jelly Roll every show, just everywhere. Do I understand that these people grew up big fans of WWE and stuff? Yes. I'm still a fan of WWE. More of wrestling than WWE. That's why I watch it and stuff like that. Hopefully that it can get better. But when you do stuff like this is the crazy part. So this was actually a breath of fresh air more than anything, because it was like, man, that looked funny. That was entertaining. People are talking about it. World Star, I'm sure, will talk about it. Media Takeout, if they still alive, they'll talk about it. People on Facebook, I'm cracking jokes with my friends online about the situation because it's very, very funny. It's very, very entertaining. Why would you talk to a wrestler like that? A wrestler is supposed to be an intimidating athlete and stuff like that, and they're supposed to take care of you. Jey Uso is known to be called Crash Out Jay, when he used to hit people with chairs and beat people up and all kind of stuff. Then even with the situation with CM Punk, talking about their family and stuff, their father and stuff like that, Jay was like, you need to apologize. Crazy they didn't capitalize on matches. I know they faced it before, but still. It was fine. But that's how you do it. That's how you get more eyes on the product, because some people are going to say, is this real? Is this fake? Let me look into it. Let me see who this wrestler is and how they doing this kind of stuff. Oh, Camron should have said it. Like, Jay yoked him from over the panel that he was sitting on and did some stuff to him. That's some entertaining stuff right there, because you don't see a lot of people getting physical with the celebrities on the celebrities panels. Wrestling matches is a little different. I mean, we literally just saw Lil Yachty get his head kicked off by Sammy. But still, you're not used to just seeing it like that on other platforms without lawsuits being involved. But I do want to speak about that for a little bit. But that was cool. That was entertaining. If you wasn't a fan of WWE and you looked at that, you probably are going to look at stuff and see what happened. But let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about it? Let me know. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Chris Classic. Let's take it home.